Hello, I'm FYX and welcome back to the Minecraft console news video. So I have some pretty good news to share with you all, but it's also some pretty sad news because there is a brand new update out right now for all Minecraft consoles, regardless of your region, regardless of your platform. You should have a brand new update out. However, the sad news is this is the last update for Minecraft PlayStation 3, 360, Wii U, and of course PlayStation Vita. So they're adding one last update, but then they're dropping support permanently. There'll be no more fully featured updates, there'll be no more bug fixes, no more mashup pack updates. This was the last update that will come out for those platforms, and I figured this is kind of a big deal. So let's talk about it, let's explain what happened, why it happened, and then where we go from here, because I know a lot of you do still play the 360, PS3, etc., or just might be curious because this is the first time Minecraft has ever truly discontinued an entire platform of the game. So let's talk about that in today's video. I hope you do enjoy this one, but let's dive straight into it because 4J Studios officially tweeted out yesterday when they confirmed that the PlayStation 4 version of the game had come out in Europe, but it took a really long time for this to come out for PlayStation 4 North America, as well as the 360, PS3, PS Vita, and of course Wii U. We'll call those the discontinued consoles for now, because again, they've all been discontinued as of this update. And yeah, basically, I wanted to wait until this did come out because there is the good news, the update's out. It brings the Nightmare Before Christmas mashup pack, and it brings a few bug fixes. But again, those consoles have been officially discontinued in terms of full updates last year. So this is just the final step where instead of saying like, oh yeah, we'll occasionally release DLC for them, we'll occasionally fix things that need to go wrong, this is the last update period. They're entirely done. And in case you're curious, it's like, how can you be entirely done? Let's read through what the developers of these versions of the game, 4J Studios, had to say, because it was a pretty emotional journey. Because they said, title update 73, the final update for Minecraft Xbox 360 edition, will be out later today, adding the Nightmare Before Christmas mashup pack. It's been a long journey since TU1 on May 9th, 2012. Thank you to the more than 21 million Minecraft Xbox 360 players for your support over the years. That's right, they sold over 21 million copies of Minecraft on the Xbox 360. This means that the Xbox 360 alone was coming very close to the number of sales Java had had over its lifetime, despite being a shorter lifespan of a console which was very old. Even at the time it released, Minecraft 360 was a huge hit, so much bigger than anyone predicted. Even 4J had predicted something like 1 million over the first year, and that happened within the first 48 hours. There was just so much hype for Minecraft Xbox 360 all of those years ago, and the fact that there's been 5.5 years of support is a pretty wild journey. But then they kind of nail in the coffin in terms of like, okay, so they say that it's the last update, but I mean, they've said that a few times now. The last one was the last update, and there was going to be some updates before that the last update. How do we know this is for real? And this is the kind of sadder news, because they also tweeted out saying, as we pack up our Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, PlayStation Vita, and Wii U development kits, we're getting all nostalgic. Please share some of your best memories over the past 6.5 years of Minecraft on these consoles. Because that's right, they're packing up their 360, PS3, PS Vita, and Wii U development kits, and they're presumably going to be sending them back to their respective publishers. They won't have them anymore because, again, they're being packed up and being sent, or like, but you know, they're not going to be needed after this, because it's not like, you know, in 2019 there's going to be a big hit brand new Xbox 360 game they develop. This is going to be the end for those consoles, which is kind of a tragic thing. On just like, oh man, look how many consoles they are. It's super sad to see them like that, but it is the state of affairs. You can also see how like they've got 360s from all the way back in the original days to like the newer slim 360s. It's just kind of a beautifully sad thing to see. And bear in mind, 4J I think is one of the longest lasting developers of those consoles. They all went, you know, technically obsolete back in 2014 when they were replaced, but 4J has been sticking through and releasing things, even major content updates for all of those consoles over these years, and that is something we have to quickly just commend them on and say, wow, they lasted so much longer than any developer. They wanted to stay true to the over 21 million players on 360 alone, as well as the millions on the other platforms, and they've been doing it for all these years. But again, because of the internal Microsoft/Minecraft politics, you know, there are reasons that needs to come to the end. It was going to happen regardless. This was just an inevitable fact, but seeing it happen now is kind of a sad thing. So what comes next for Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, PlayStation Vita, and Wii U players? Like, what do? You can still play your version of the game. You can even still play mini games. Everything is going to be left online for as long as those platforms have support in them, which is going to be a nice thing. You can still play your 360 world. You can bring out a 360 5 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. You'll still be able to play it because it's still going to be on the console. It just won't be receiving any more updates. Title update 73, the last update of 2018, was the last update for those platforms. However, this raises the bigger question of what happens with PlayStation 4 now, because one, you'll notice how they're packing away their 360s, their PS3s, their Wii U's, and their PlayStation Vitas, but they're not necessarily packing away, you know, their Switches or their Xbox Ones, even though they don't develop those versions of the game. And although part of the reason for this is because they still develop mashup packs, which do go on those platforms sometimes, and, you know, texture packs, etc., they go on the, you know, Bedrock version, which can be done with any, you know, like even a PC can be a dev kit for that, really. So, yeah, the simple answer to this one is I think that, you know, maybe we'll eventually see that happen to the PlayStation 4 as well, or maybe, you know, they have other plans alongside what they're doing with Minecraft. We don't know for sure, but it's just an interesting little, you know, asterisk on the end of this. But before we move fully into that, I want to mention, if you're on one of these platforms, what do you do now? Like I said, you can keep playing it, but I would recommend making the upgrade to a Switch if you want a portable console, or to the Xbox One if you want a, like a non-portable version of Minecraft Bedrock. Obviously, if you have a PC, just use that, and you can get Windows 10 on there just fine. I know that's what a lot of people choose to do, but if you need to upgrade anyway, I know that consoles are expensive. Again, I've been in that situation. I was a kid who was like, I want a new console, but, like, your parents can't just give you hundreds of pounds, dollars, euros, whatever, and you're a child. You don't have access to vast pools of money to just drop it on a console. What do you do in that situation? And the simple answer is, like, I mean, there's a few situations where you have access to it. There's doing tiny jobs, there's doing whatever internet stuff you can do, or there's doing, just taking, like, Christmas, birthday presents, etc. That's how I end up getting consoles most of the time. It'd be like, oh, so, how about if we, like, combine my Christmas and birthday present, then can we get me an Xbox 360? And yeah, maybe that's useful. I know it, like, sucks to be told that, like, this piece of hardware you bought is obsolescent, but the fact that a console has lasted for 13 years, smartphones last for 2 years, then they're considered a bit obsolete. After 4 years, they're running slow, and, like, if you had an iPhone from, like, 2007, it wouldn't work online. It wouldn't be using the App Store. Even, like, iPhone 3, 4, 5, even Samsung Galaxy S2, all these devices are just old, outdated, and can't really be used. So the fact that something from 13 years ago now still can be, that's a feat that is pretty crazy. And it still works fine, it's still properly curated, it's still a good version of the game. And yeah, just keep that in mind that, like, nothing lasts forever. You can't expect to buy something once and have it be updated by someone for the rest of the time, because people have to put effort into that. There's a whole team employed by 4J, and the economics doesn't make sense with those consoles anymore. So we're gonna move on now to talking about, so now you know what you should do. I recommend getting an Xbox One. I would say even if you're on PlayStation, switch to the PlayStation 4, because you get the console edition version of the game, and eventually there's gonna be, like, the Bedrock Switch, so maybe if you wanna keep that whole thing going. But the most powerful console is the Xbox One X right now, the most portable console is the Switch, and I think that's the dichotomy where I would say, like, one or the other of those. And then there's also just play on your phone, play on Windows 10. There are lots of devices in this new Bedrock ecosystem, which is getting better all the time. I think it's not getting better as fast as we anticipated, but it is still getting better a lot faster than console did back in its day. But just keep that in mind as we go forward. So the interesting thing about Bedrock, though, is that Bedrock is on a bunch of platforms, and they've never really discontinued the Bedrock platform, with the exception of Apple TV, which was in the wilderness for a very long time first. But their whole goal is, like, they don't want to be on platforms they have to abandon eventually, and this has now happened. The 360, the PS3, the PS Vita, their lifespans long lasted how it should have, but, like, it's like now the question is, what happens in the future? Will Minecraft be this fluid game that manages to move from platform to platform to platform? Because that's where it's going, right? Like, I've moved Minecraft, the primary thing I play on. I played on Java back in 2011, then I bought the game for the first time on the 360, then I switched to the Xbox One. Now I play a lot on the Xbox One, but I also play on the Switch, but I'm also playing a lot on Windows 10, kind of mixed in with that. There's, like, a lot of things mixed in that I play the game on, and it's interesting because, the Minecraft is consistent across those last 4 experiences I mentioned, so maybe that's kind of the future of this. Like, oh yeah, you will buy a new device every 2 years in terms of phone or PC or something, or you'll buy a new console every 5 to 10 years, and then Minecraft will hopefully keep recertifying and re-improving for those devices. So yeah, I think that is the, like, vision they're working towards, and I think that's why many of the flaws of Bedrock, which is, like, it's cross-platform, it works in everything, it sounds like a big downside on the surface, because there are so many features we can't get because it has to work on phones. Like amplified, better terrain generation, these things slow down older phones, so you can't get them even if you're running, again, the most powerful console, or a PC that can run, any game in 4K, 120 FPS on the max settings, but for some reason can't run Minecraft above, this amount of settings. Basically, it sucks on the higher end of those things, but it is a way of meaning that no matter where, your devices go, Minecraft should be able to still follow you, which is actually kind of a commendable goal. That's a really interesting thing that should be developed a little bit by Microsoft, and I think, like, as a way to really support that, there should be a realm, a one-person realm maybe, that should be accessible on your Minecraft account, that you should be able to just have for free. So if you want to, like, be able to transfer wealth from device to device, it should be really simple, because now all of your, your stuff, your username, your server preferences, your friends list, your everything else, it can go with you from device to device to device. That's one of the beauties of Minecraft. They've made a game which isn't tied to any of the devices it's on, really, in any way, but the future would be having your world saves transfer over to, because that's the most important thing to a lot of people I know watch this channel. If you have a survival world you care about, there are still ways to get it off your platform right now. If you're on Wii U, transfer it to the Switch. I believe there's some weird stuff with transferring from Switch to Switch Bedrock. If you're on the PlayStation 3 or Vita, you can transfer to the PlayStation 4. If you're on the 360, you have to transfer to the One, to the Bedrock, and some things do break a little when you do that, so just be warned. But there are ways to get your stuff off, as I understand it at least. So if you have a survival world you care about, then I would recommend bringing it into the Bedrock version of the game. Not because I think Bedrock is perfect. I don't think Bedrock is even close to perfect, but I think it's improving rapidly, and it's the one version of the game that if you care about and think you'll be playing in a few years' time, or 5 years' time, or maybe even 10 years, in the same way that you could have a Lego set that you could play 60 years from now, I think the only way that's going to work is to fit into that big vision of having a game which isn't tied to any one platform. So that's my thoughts on this one. That's because I've been thinking about this one a lot recently. I've also been thinking about the PlayStation 4 and where it fits into this. It is very clear that it's just a matter of time until Sony and Microsoft have a deal on bringing Bedrock to the PlayStation 4. It might require some really weird PlayStation 4 like link into Xbox Live, where officially speaking it never says Xbox Live, it never says Microsoft account. We don't know for sure how it's going to work, but it's just a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when now. It could wait until the PlayStation 5, but it's likely the PlayStation 4 will be replaced with Bedrock 2. So yeah, Minecraft console has shifted from being the console edition developed by 4J, and although that still exists in the form of the PlayStation 4, I think that version's days are numbered. And although this sounds like bad news, again, I think at least the one positive thing is this wonderful community which I've been a part of and have made videos for over the last 5 years. You know, we've been covering the news all the way from like TU5 all the way up now to TU73. All of these dozens and dozens of updates. You know, 4J even recognized that, like, you know, we enjoyed your news videos over the years, which I thought was nice of them. Also, they showed off the picture of me and the llama. But you know, this has been a wonderful ride, and I know there's a lot of you out there that are like, so what has happened to the game that I love? And the truth is all this time we were a unified community, despite playing technically separate games. The Wii U edition was separate to the Switch edition, which was separate to the PlayStation 4 edition. Now the beauty is that regardless of which of the three major platforms you use, you're a Nintendo guy, a PlayStation guy, or a Microsoft guy, soon that's not going to be relevant. What's going to be relevant is what is your gamer tag and would you like to join my game? And that, although there are a lot of trade-offs to get there, that is a place that I think we would all like to be. That is a place I'm looking forward to seeing over the next year or so. And as long as we get that alongside the regular updates for Survivor, as long as we get that alongside regular good things, and as long as, again, the greed of the game doesn't keep getting too high. Again, the store really takes up its level of, like, you know, ignoring what the players of the game want every now and then. You know, and servers every time have this issue. You know, that's something that I think we can deal with as a community rather than looking back from avoiding and saying, oh, it's just bad. I think it's something we have to take the reins on and say, look, okay, you know, all console players are Bedrock players now or soon, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's something that we can hopefully make our best impact on, because 4J has been one of the best developers of a game, as well as one of the best managers of a community. Despite all of these years and millions of players, young impressionable players, they could have, you know, sold some micro transactions in there. They could have thrown in some ads. They could have done all these terrible tactics every major game publisher does, but they stuck to their DLC model. Even when they decided to take things up with like mini games, and then, you know, there were mini game DLCs, they always released something for free. There was always something everyone could play, regardless of you and your friends, and you could always play your friends' stuff. If they bought it, you could play with them. They had the most generous rules, I think, in the game, and that's something that I think we should look to and say, look, you know, Microsoft, Minecraft, we've seen you can do this and make a profit. This is the stuff you should be doing. But that's my take on this. This is the end of Minecraft Console Edition, and until, you know, we'll still be talking about PlayStation 4, but this is kind of the end of the line for 360, PS3, Wii U, etc. And I just wanted to say thank you for all the years of watching the video. If you feel to yourself like, oh yeah, this is, you know, the last console video, I'm out of here, I only care about Console Edition, that's fine. I hope you enjoyed your time on the channel. But if you know, you intend to switch to Bedrock at some point soon, then I hope you all enjoy 2019, because I am hyped for this year. I think this has the potential to be the best year yet, because we've got Village and Pillage coming. I know that's a Java update, but the features should be coming to Bedrock, which is a huge update. There's going to be another update coming later in the year. There's all these big things. Super Duper Graphics is finally going to start to emerge its head, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of those changes, and hopefully seeing them be positive as opposed to negative. But that's my take on things. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I know this is a big / emotional subject, so please let me know what you're thinking. And for now, I just wanted to say thank you very much for watching this video. Like it if you liked it, share if you really liked it, subscribe if you're around here, and oh, just a tiny bit of extra news here. Yesterday, alongside the Nightmare Before Christmas, which has now come out for Bedrock, you can also now get the vanilla HD textures by BD Craft, which is something I'm excited about, because BD Craft is a pretty good developer for these sorts of things, or Sfax, I believe his name is. But yeah, I'm excited to you know, check that out. I'll probably do it on Store Sunday. Just wanted to mention, because it was big news like 6 months ago, then it kind of got delayed a bit, and now it's finally out, and I'm going to be checking it out. So with that said, thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you very much for watching the channel over the past 5.5 years, and I hope that you continue to in 2019. I have been IBX Toycat, and I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.